What's up, EV Clan? Alex SB here, and welcome back to the Pokemon Red Randomizer Nuzlocke, where today, as you can tell by the fact I just walked into Brock's gym, today I want to beat Brock, and hopefully, looking at our team, I think we have a pretty good chance. Knock on wood. Judging by our team, I think we have pretty good chances, because we have, for the first time ever, I think, at any of these runs, we have 3 Pokemon, all, like, fairly high level, going into his gym. So, unless he has something stupid and outlandish, I think we'll be good. Fingers crossed, I'm correct. But, I am correct. Unless he has something stupid and outlandish, we will probably be good. Unless, of course, he has, like, something that is, I don't know. I think we have, this time around, we have pretty good type coverage. Like, if he sends out a grass type, our water type isn't weak to that, you know? Like, it has an ice type move. If he sends out an electric type, we have an electric type to take those electric type hits. Like, I think that all around we're just looking pretty good. But once again, knock on that wood, because anything could go wrong. That's the thing about a randomizer. Any given thing could go wrong. Because these trainers could have anything. So, there's one thing I've learned. It's to not get too overconfident. From all my time playing randomizers, it's one thing I've learned. Don't get too overconfident. Because if you get too overconfident and walk into a gym, say, without any potions, as I did last run, I walked into Puto City, went right to the gym last run. And that was my downfall, I believe. Because while the Moltres using Double Edge was crazy, and, like, absolutely just, like, bad luck that's what I ended up running into, I might have been able to get out of that situation if I just bought potions before heading into the gym. But no, that was a situation where I simply forgot to buy potions, as I do, because I constantly, like, run into things without thinking a lot. I forget that I need to buy them because my memory's bad, and I just rush into things without thinking too much, and that's why last episode, I made sure I bought the potions, just in case in this episode, I forgot. Mind you, in this episode, I remembered that I would have needed to buy potions. So if I had not bought potions last episode, I would have remembered this episode, just because I remembered the potions, before recording this. But yeah, definitely just like, usually, I will just fail to, I will simply fail to, remember to buy the potions. But, yeah, I don't know why. I guess I just switched into Gerald because I wanted her to get XP. But we're switching right back to, Jolteon. Jolteon, that's the name of the Pokemon. We really should be, like, we really shouldn't be switch training at a time like this. Because switch training is when your Pokemon can afford to... Switch training should only be done when your Pokemon can afford, when any given Pokemon on your team, besides the one you're switch training, can afford to take out the Pokemon. Like, I don't think you should ever be switch training in a gym, really. I think that was a bad, excuse me, I think that was a bad, idea by me. But frankly, it was just muscle memory. Like, switch the Pokemon that has the least XP. That is the lowest level. But hey, it paid off. In this case, it paid off. Andrew was able to get to solo that trainer, which is good. Because I believe that trainer had only water types, if I was paying enough attention. They had a Psyduck and something else that I believe was also water type. But yeah, last time I was mentioning about, like, not last time, but, like, a while ago I was mentioning about, like, how like, game overs work in Mario, and how I'm not too big a fan of Mario Odyssey's, dying, and Mario Odyssey's, like, punishment for dying, because I just think it's not, like, harsh enough. But I feel like they're trying too hard to make it sort of harsh. Like, if you're going to make a, I don't think that the punishment for in my opinion, the punishment for dying in a video game should never be not harsh. Like, I think that if you die, then it should be a harsh punishment or none at all. And I'm sure that's a controversial opinion, but that's how I genuinely feel. Video game dying, punishments should be harsh, or there should be none at all. I don't think there's room for a mid-ground. But, he sent out a Dugong. I guess I should have just led with Jolteon, because they were probably the best person to deal with this. I shouldn't say person, Pokemon, because, not a person. I'm a person. That's a Pokemon. These two things on the screen are Pokemon. In case you're not aware. They're not, in fact, Pokeballs, because I know that Professor Oak tends to get the two confused. These are Pokemon. Those Aurora Beams are doing a buttload of damage, especially when they crit. It's not a speed tie. It's not. Imagine he dodged that. It's 100% accuracy, but I don't know. Nothing is certain in Gen 1. Something could just be fast and dodge for some reason, even though it's not physically possible. I don't get the rules of Gen 1. I'm pretty sure there are none. But hey, now we're switching out to go for our own Aurora Beam, I'm pretty sure. Which, if you think about it, kind of nuts that Cloyster at this level has Aurora Beam. I think they started with Aurora Beam. I think that's crazy, right? Like, it's definitely crazy in newer games, but I don't know about this game. Like, because I feel like that has like 80 power, right? Like, at least in newer games. Maybe it's not as good in this game, so that's why he starts with it. But hot dang is that doing damage. Dummy damage. Like, even if it's not a very good move in this game, I'm sure it is, judging by how much damage it was doing. But it was doing damage. So that does lead me to believe that it's still a good move in this game. But yeah, first gym down. That's never a problem. I shouldn't say it's never a problem. That is not so much a problem. Like, we've gotten past this before. Not as much a problem as the route ahead of it, oddly enough. Usually we don't struggle on the first gym. It's the things ahead of that, such as the route following and Mount Moon, that tend to lead to the destruction of my runs. I don't know if y'all heard that computer notification. There was a computer notification. I don't know if the recording software picked that up, but I don't think it did, because last time there was a computer notification during a video, it didn't pick it up. So I'm pretty sure it didn't, but hey, I'll know when I watch it back for editing purposes. And then editor Alex will probably say something like, "Yeah, it did, you dummy." Because I just love to, you know, it's that self-deprecating humor that's just great, you know. But yeah, Gerald is our lowest level right now, still with only one move, which is not the best. Ember on a fire type is not bad. It's got that stab. At least we got stab. But at the same time, I'd like other moves. I think it's wacky that Magmar only comes with one move. At this level, it only has one move. Not only did I get it with only one move, but it's even crazier that it still has only one move. Because like all my other Pokemon here, fully evolved, have more than one move. I feel like both of these have 4 even. Right? Hold on, let me check. Yeah? Yeah. This one has 4. And I'm sure Cloyster has 4 too. Yeah. So these two Pokemon are fully evolved, and they have 4 moves. So why doesn't Magmar, which is also fully evolved, why does Magmar, who is also fully evolved, not have more than one move? I don't know, that just seems odd to me. But hey, I mean, every Pokemon's different. I sure hope that this thing's moveset learns that isn't trash. Oh gosh, Rap. Freaking hate Rap, man. Oh crap, I gotta turn to move. I gotta turn. And I was mashing A, so I used the wrong move. Bro, stop it. Stop. Cease. Halt. Thank you. Thunderstruck! But yeah, as I was saying about, like, game overs and stuff, I like the new Super Mario Bros. Way of doing it. With, like, new Super Mario Bros. DS and new Super Mario Bros. Wii, where it's like you lose, you go back to the last point you saved, and you can't save until you've beaten the game. Because I think that's really, I think that's a nice way of doing it. Because once you've beaten the game, I feel it is less about surviving and more about just like 100%ing from there. Like, I'm so fine with there being next to no punishment for getting a game over. what is it? Once you beat the game. Because once you beat the game, like, you've already done it, you know? You've already survived the entire game. It's like, it's not, the punishment is gone. Now it would just be annoying for the punishment to stay. And plus, it's not like there's anything to anchor it to anymore. You know, like, I think that is such a good way of doing it, that, like, when you're beating the game for the first time, you have to just, like, survive. You have to get from one tower to another. You have to get from, like, the tower to the castle, or the beginning of the world to the tower, in order to, without getting a game over. Otherwise, you have to restart that segment again. Like, it's good that they split it up into segments. Like, this is where the game allows you to save. So therefore, if you get a game over, between the tower and the castle, you go back to the tower. I think that is such a good way of doing it. Because, like, it's not sending you all the way back to the beginning of the world, if you're the level before if you die on the castle. You know, like, that would have been, frankly, a little bit too much, in my opinion. But it's sending you back to the tower, which is, like, a midpoint, and I think that's, like, decent, I think that's very good, especially considering, like, how little that means you actually have to redo in the grand scheme of things, because, like, New Super Mario, I don't know about, like, future New Super Mario Bros. Games, but New Super Mario Bros. DS, at least, like, you lose in the castle, you have to redo, like, 3 levels. And yeah, maybe those 3 levels will be hard, and maybe that's, like, that's a difficult thing to redo, if you're, like, late into the game. Like, obviously, you lose on the castle in World 1, you get a game over, then it's not a big problem at all. Just replay those levels, and, like, those levels aren't hard. But you lose in, like, the castle, before, in like, World 8, and then all of a sudden you have to go back to that the last tower. Because I believe that World 8 has 2 towers, and then doesn't it have, like, I don't know if it's 2 towers, and then, like, extended World 8, or with 1 tower, and then a castle. I feel like there's 2 towers, castle, 1 more tower, 1 more castle. Right, because obviously, like, I do love that. I think that that's always so cool when Mario games are like, oh yeah, World 8, here's your tower, here's your castle. But then you beat the castle and they're like, but it's not over. I think that's really cool. They did that in, like, Super Mario 3D Land too. I always thought that was the coolest reveal. How, like, you beat the castle, and then you go, and then, like, it's like, what's this? And then there's, like, this big roadway to an even bigger castle. It's like, World 8 takes up, like, one world's, there's, like, all the worlds take up, like, a certain amount of levels, like, and those levels cover, like, a certain amount of space on, like, the map and stuff when you look at it. But then, like, you go past the World 8 castle, and then there's just a giant castle that is, like, the size of the entire rest of a world. It's like all the other levels combined make the size of this one castle level, and I think that's so cool. But yeah, going back to New Super Mario Bros. I don't recall if obviously I know that they did that too in New Super Mario Bros. DS, where it's like, oh, there's 2 parts of World 8. And then, like, I do recall that. I know that there's 2 parts of World 8, but I don't know if it's 2 towers and a castle, and then 2 towers and a castle, or if it's 2 towers and a castle, and then 1 tower and a castle, or if it's 1 tower and a castle, or 2 towers and a castle. I don't recall. I should outspeed now. Yeah, I didn't know how much damage that next attack would be doing, but I knew I was going to outspeed, because Jolteon is fast and that thing was paralyzed at that point, so even on the off chance it did crit and kill, because I don't think a regular hit would kill, I really don't. Even on the off chance it did crit and kill, we were safe, because it wasn't going to hit me. It wasn't going to get a chance to hit me anyway. But yeah, I think that is, like, such a good way of doing it, that, like, you don't go all the way back to the game, like, all the way back to the beginning of the game, like old Mario games. You don't go all the way back to the beginning of the world, because that's a little too harsh. At the same time, you don't get a game over, and then, like, just like, oh, it's nothing, you get booted out of the level. You lost your checkpoint, oh no, you have to replay the level from the beginning, because that's so tame. It's not like the newer games either. It's just right, it's perfectly in the middle, in terms of punishment, and I think it's just really good. However, I will say, I am not a tremendous fan of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, New Super Mario. I'm sure it was in New Super Mario Bros. U as well, but like I said in the previous episode, I never owned a Wii or a Wii U, so my first experience of New Super Mario Bros. U was New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and Toadette is awesome. I love Toadette. I can't imagine playing New Super Mario Bros. U without freaking Peachette, and I think it was just such a good addition, because, like, yeah, there's not a lot of differences between New Super Mario Bros. U and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, but dang it, is Toadette enough for me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is about Toadette. I just really like Toadette, and I really like Peachette, like, even more. I played Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker when I was like a while ago, to the point where I was fairly little when I played Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. So I guess I have like some nostalgia to it, and I think that helps with the whole like Toadette thing, like being so loving Toadette so much. And then after that I played New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, because I played Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker on the 3DS back in the day, and then I got New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on the Switch when I got a Switch. And so what happened? So then I see Toadette, and I'm like, oh cool, so like Toadette, and then I'm playing as Toadette, and all of a sudden I hit a question mark block, and I get a crown. I see a crown power pop out, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And then I get it, and all of a sudden I'm Peachette, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's adorable. Peachette's just so cute. I love the design. It's a very cute design. Because, you know, it's a perfect mix between like Toadette and Peach. It's like, it looks like Peach, but then you look at it again, like, closer, and then you can see, like, the Toad type of details, you know, like, the way her hair goes back into, like, the braids, like the Toadette braids, like the mushroom braids. I love, like, the mushroom braids. I think those are so cool, because it's like a bunch of, like, toadstool heads. The head of the mushroom, I guess, is what you'd call it, and it's just like all of them tied together, like making a braid down. I think that's so cool. I love Toadette, but I'm not a fan of New Super Mario Bros. U's whole like, oh, you save with balloons thing, because I don't recall how the balloons work, but I think that saving every castle and tower is enough. And I don't get the whole thing of, like, here's a balloon. Overall, I don't like the whole leaning into balloon branding. Not a big fan of it, especially because, like, I don't understand why, especially in the case of New Super Mario Bros. U, because I don't understand why a balloon serves as a save point. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my life. Luckily, I put a balloon back there on that last level. Phew. Good thing I put a balloon there in preparation for my death. It's like, okay, what does the balloon exactly do? It's like, Balloon Mario's cool, and like, you get back to like Super Mario World, and then like, and Balloon Mario's cool, and like in Super Mario 64 DS, I think Balloon Mario is even cooler, because it's just cool to see it in 3D, and you're floating around, and you just have more control over it in Super Mario 64 DS. I love Balloon Mario in Super Mario Maker 2, by the way. I think that was a fantastic incorporation. Super Mario Maker 2 had a lot of things that is just like, you wouldn't expect. Like, out of all the things they could have added in between, like, Super Mario Maker and Super Mario Maker 2, you wouldn't expect, like, say, P-Balloon, or, I don't know, like, Goomba Hat. Out of all the things they could have added, you wouldn't expect some of the things they did. But boy, do I like basically all the additions. Master Sword. Like, are you serious? I hate Legend of Zelda, and even I think that crap's hype. It's like, bro, why can Mario get a Master Sword and become Link in Super Mario Maker 2? I don't know, but it's cool. And I do think that, like, the Super Mario Bros. 2 mushroom was a little bit lame, like, considering prior to that, they introduced, like, the Master Sword. I think all the updates to Super Mario Maker 2 were so hype, really. Were, like, really hype, all of them. But just, like, in general, hypest thing had to have been the freaking Master Sword. Also, I gotta switch out here. You don't have Pursuit. I don't know if Pursuit is even in this game. It probably is, but, like, you probably don't have it. you definitely don't have it. Scratch that, you definitely don't have it, even if it is. Because Pursuit is a dark type move, so it's probably not in this game. It could just be a normal type move in this game. It could be in this game, but as a normal type move. I would accept that as an answer. I think that is likely enough, because a lot of normal type moves, not a lot of dark type moves that were in Gen 1, I feel were normal type moves before. In Gen 1? I don't think I explained that quite very well. Oh my gosh, my stutter's going crazy right now. Hold on. I gotta get out of it, because if I start stuttering, then I keep stuttering, and that's the problem. It's like, I started stuttering on one thought, and then I kept on stuttering on every other thought, because I was getting self-conscious of my stuttering. So I'm just getting self-conscious, so then that I wasn't portraying the thought well enough, so then I started stuttering, and then I was getting self-conscious about my stuttering, which led to more stuttering. It is really an endless cycle of stuttering. But, I just gotta break the cycle by, hopefully articulating my thoughts better. That being said, I forgot what I was saying, because my memory is bad, and I went off on a tangent about stuttering. So, let me think. It was, I don't know what I was just talking about. I forget. I forgot. Oh, Super Mario Maker 2. So, I just think, okay, first of all, love that it's 3D world. That 3D worlds got put in the game. But I am fully with the other people who were like, oh, special, like, they were like, I don't quite remember, because it's been a while since I played Super Mario Maker 2, and it's been a while since I've seen content on Super Mario Maker 2. Obviously, like, that's how games getting old usually works. Like, the older it gets, the less you see of it. But, I remember it was, like, special. I don't remember what it's called, like, the different games that you can choose from. But it said, like, special, one of those. And it said, like, special. I'll just say special courses. It said special courses, even though it's definitely not the term. Special themes? Special themes. I'll go with special themes. I'm not sure that's the term, but I'll go with special themes. So basically, it said special, it was, like, the themes, and then there was the special themes section. And people said, oh, like, oh, first of all, there's a whole section for it, so that might indicate that there's gonna be more than one. And then it said special themes rather than special theme, so that also indicated, like, oh, to people that, like, oh, that'll be more than one. And I fully believe that, and I think that, like, all the updates to Super Mario Maker 2 were really hype, but I think that it took away from the hype so much when, like, the last update came in, and there was no new theme. It's like, okay, I loved that the special theme that they chose was Super Mario 3D World. And it's like, oh, what separates that from the other themes? And it's like, well, why is that a special theme? Well, the other ones are just themes. And so that, if you're asking that question, I think it's fairly obvious. Super Mario 3D World is a 3D game, while the other ones are 2D. So the theme is special purely because it is made off of an entirely different type of game. And that being said, I think that they do a really good job of incorporating, like, Super Mario 3D World movement and enemies and, like, level just objects into a 2D format. I think they did a really good job of it. But it is just upsetting. Like, I'm not too bummed that it's because it's Super Mario 3D World. Like, I'm happy with just Super Mario 3D World getting some attention. And boy, was I going ecstatic when Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury was announced later on. But at the moment, like, obviously that hadn't been announced yet, so I was just happy that this little Wii U game that I loved so much was getting any attention at all. So I saw, like, Super Mario 3D World becoming a style in Super Mario Maker 2, and I'm like, that's awesome. That is absolutely fantastic. So I really can't be mad. But it is kind of a bummer that there was only one special theme. It's just like, I'm happy with what they included, but knowing that they could have included more, you know, that's the thing. It's like, what else could they have done? Like, why did it have to stop there? And I hope that first of all, hoping there's a Super Mario Maker 3 at some point. I'm sure there will be, because I'm sure Nintendo made bank on Super Mario Maker and Super Mario Maker 2. But just like, hope this is Super Mario Maker 3, and hope that there are more special themes. I think that that's like everyone's main hope, really. Like Super Mario Maker 3, there are a lot of things that it could have, and there are a lot of things that people want. But I think that the main hope is just like something new, something entirely new theme. Like that would be absolutely fantastic if we could get something like new and different. And I think that like the sword, Link's sword, with like the whole yeah, the Master Sword. Yes, sorry, I don't play Legend of Zelda. I'm like Link's sword. What is it called? The Master Sword. The Master Sword thing was so hype, and I feel like Super Mario Maker 2 did so many things that got people thinking about the possibilities, and then didn't deliver on any of them. Because it's like, yes, it was cool that they did special themes. Yes, it was cool that they did power-ups that turn you to characters from other games. But it's not cool that they didn't do more of it, you know? It's like, they gave you this idea of what could happen, and then they didn't deliver on any of the ideas, didn't make an effort to deliver on any of the ideas that could be brought about from that. It's like, you got people thinking about the possibilities, and then you didn't deliver on any of them. Which I think is like a major, like, oversight by Nintendo, and I think that they could have continued to update Super Mario Maker 2, and added tons of new stuff. And that would have been, like, really cool. Because, like, I get it. I understand that, like, making games is hard, and it takes a while to get these updates out, especially, like, big ones. Like, Super Mario Maker 2 had fairly big updates, and they, like, each update added, like, a bunch of stuff. And, like, I get it. I get that it would take a while, it takes a while to churn out these big updates, but, like, you could have simply kept on updating the game. And, like, hey, maybe that wasn't their, like, priority. Maybe they had other things they wanted to work on, like, they needed to work on, honestly. That, like, maybe they just had too much stuff on their plate, and they didn't want to keep updating Super Mario Maker 2. But I think that would have been such a good idea, to just keep it updating, keep adding new stuff, keep it fresh. But I guess, in the end, if they had delivered on all this stuff, then it wouldn't have built hype for Super Mario Maker 3 quite as well, would it have? Because, like, now people are wondering, what special themes are they going to add in Super Mario Maker 3? What characters are they going to add in Super Mario Maker 3? If they had satisfied people with Super Mario Maker 2, then people wouldn't want to buy Super Mario Maker 3 quite as much. So I feel like, yes, it's a bummer, but it's also... Yes, it's a bummer, and maybe it's an oversight, but more so I think it's probably a business tactic, just to get people wanting more. Just like thinking about, there's going to be more. If there's a Mario Maker 3, then it's going to have more stuff. It's going to have more special themes. It's going to have more, like, last Super Mario Maker 2, it gets people in the mindset of like, oh, Super Mario Maker 2 had, you could make Super Mario 3D World levels. What if in Super Mario Maker 3, you can make Super Mario 64 levels? In Super Mario Maker 2, you could turn into Link. What if in Super Mario Maker 3, you could turn into Kirby? Like, they place these things in such a way that it opens up, like, endless possibilities of what could possibly happen. And then they didn't add anything else on the subject. They said there were special themes, and then didn't add any more special themes besides the first one. They gave us this idea that there would be power-ups that could turn Mario into characters from other games with new powers representing those characters. And we're like, oh my gosh, what if he could turn into Samus, or Kirby, or some other Nintendo character? Sorry, I did that thing from SpongeBob where he's like, or some other third thing! Just, I was looking for a third example, but I couldn't get one, sadly. Just, 3 is nice to end on when you're providing examples. But anyway, they could have... They opened our eyes to all the possibilities, and then just did nothing with it. But now that our eyes are open to all these possibilities, we can look forward to when Super Mario Maker 3 eventually comes out, and be like, oh my gosh, I wonder if they're going to add this, because this is what I really wanted in Super Mario Maker 2. Like, it's hard to tell if they were like, it's hard to tell, like, were they doing this on purpose, or did they expect there to be more, did they expect there to be more course themes, or did they do this on purpose? Because it's special themes, as if there was going to be more than one. And then there wasn't more than one. So were they just planning that there would be more than one, and then they didn't have time, and they had to like move on to the next thing? Like they didn't have time to put in more in updates? Or did they purposefully get our hopes up that there would be more than one, only to let us down so that they could sell Super Mario Maker 3? I don't really know. But whether it was intentional or not, I feel it was a great business tactic. Here's a Zapdos. And that being said, I guess I'll go back to the original idea that spawned this whole thing, which is I'm not a fan of the recent balloon branding. I think that the P-Balloon was great. The Power Flower turning Mario into Balloon was like a great means of bringing that back. I definitely think it's very cool that they didn't let the idea pass them by, because like it's like Mario is one of Mario's main traits is that he's a fat Italian man, a fat Italian plumber. So those are his character traits. He's fat, he's Italian, and he's a plumber. So why not like massively profit off of that? Why not take one of those and massively like expand on the idea by expanding Mario's body? It just seems like it was just a good idea to be like, okay, Mario's fat, that's one of his character traits, but what if he was even fatter and that was his power-up? What if we made his obesity a power? What if it was not a weakness, but a strength? And so, that is, I guess, the idea that must have spawned the P-Balloon in Super Mario World. And I think that in Super Mario World, it was less of a power-up and more a hindrance. Because, like, there was, like, that super hard level. I never got to it, obviously, because I never did, like, the bonus world in Super Mario World. But it is such an iconic level that even I know about it. Even though I've never got even close to playing it. Even I know about it. Where it's like you become a P-Balloon. You get the P-Balloon and then you, like, become a balloon and you're, like, floating past all these things in the sky. It looks like a really hard level. And I'm sure that, like, the P-Balloon doesn't look like it has gives you the most control. Like, that Balloon Mario seems, like, difficult to control, and overall it just seems like a very difficult level, because... And if you look at that level, and look at, like, how that level is... The core mechanic of that level is Mario turning into a balloon, and, like, trying to stay a balloon, so that he doesn't fall to his death. But, like, you don't... Then it's just, like... It just feels like the balloon power-up, the P-Balloon, is less of a power-up and more of a hindrance, if you look at it that way. It's like a necessary thing. It's like a necessary evil. Like, in Super Mario... Like, in New Super Mario Bros. DS later, they repeated this idea of, like, a power-up that's not really a power-up. It helps you in certain situations, but otherwise it's bad to have. Like a mini-mushroom. Mini-mushrooms are helpful to get through, like, these tiny pipes. And sometimes they help you clear like, big jumps. But, in the end, it's the same way as the P-Balloon in Super Mario World, where you don't want to have it all the time. You want to have it when it is helpful to you, and very often it is not helpful to you. That being said, before I take on this woman that has caused me so much pain in the past, I'm going to end off the episode here, because this is running for a little bit longer than I thought it would, and a little bit longer than I wanted to. Thank y'all so much for watching, Eevee Clan, and this is Alex Espeon, signing off. Make sure you like and subscribe!